I am Mary Jo, and this is my yoga room at my Vibrant Living retreat in Hanmer Springs, New Zealand. And I would like to share with you the 5 Tibetan rites in this video as a wonderful resource for you to follow along with. Now, with practice, it will only take about 10 minutes to do these 5 different practices that you will build up until eventually you can do 21 of each. You may be able to do it straight away if you have practiced, if you're regularly exercising and practicing yoga, things like that, and then you may be able to do 21. You have a good core strength. However, if you have any back issues, core issues, then this is something that you're going to build up. Any shoulder issues, so do take it easy with you. Listen to your body. And listen to the adjustments that I give you, little tweaks. My background is yoga for the last 20 years, and so there's certain little things that if you can make those little adjustments, you'll save yourself doing yourself any injury, or especially if you have already a certain injury, it can really help you to resolve that and redistribute the weight. What we're aiming for is 21, but you build them up 3, 6, 9. So for example, you might decide today or this week you're going to just do 3 of each just to get started. That's only take you not that long at all, 5 minutes, 6 minutes. Maybe you've got a busy lifestyle, you don't have that much time. You just get out of bed, spend 5-10 minutes doing these in the morning, maybe another 5-10 minutes in the evening. Once a day, twice a day. If you can do them first thing in the morning, last thing at night, that's brilliant. However, whatever you can do. And then the next week, build it up to 6 each, and the week after 9, the week after 12, the week after 15, 18, and then up into 21, or something like that. All right, so you need to be discerning and listen to your body and build it up. But even if you could just start with 3 each, that would be wonderful until you get used to them as well. If you're not familiar with really doing different stretches and opening with your body, also please understand and be aware that this is new information for your body. So it can take a little time for the body, especially if you're leading more of a sedentary life on the computer, shoulders hunched forward. It's going to take a little while to start to open them up. But these movements will help with that. And yeah, if you have any questions or concerns or anything, please do put it in the comments. This video is really a resource for those who come on retreat with me, but also anybody who finds this video. I really hope it serves you and supports you, and that you can follow along, and that it translates well for you and is beneficial. Okay, take care and enjoy this. One other thing I want to say is, just if you're not familiar with the story of the 5 Tibetan rites, this is the story I've heard, is that a British Army officer was in India. He ended up going up to Tibet, and he discovered that the Tibetan monks were practicing these 5 different practices every morning, every evening. And what's so beautiful about this practice of 5 Tibetans is not only does it wake up our body, stretch out all the muscles and ligaments and tendons and get the blood flowing, it gets the energy flowing, and it balances all the energy centers known as chakras. And when all these are, when the energy is moving and flowing and balanced, we feel good. Body, mind, and spirit. We feel connected, feel grounded, and so this practice really helps with that. It doesn't take very long, unlike a yoga class that may take at least 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, or longer. It really is. You can do between 10 and 15 minutes. So it really ticks a lot of boxes with practice. The first Tibetan is standing, preferably feet on the earth, indoors, outdoors. Really, these are that you can do them outdoors. I love to do them in my garden as well. In the summer, it's winter in New Zealand at the moment, so I'm indoors. Okay, so a little tidbit that I learned is really ground before you begin this one. Otherwise, you can feel nauseous. So to really ground, for men, the base energy center, just imagine, you can imagine the roots of the tree or a column of light going from that root base energy center. For women, we want to ground from our sacral, our womb space, sacral energy center. And again, you can imagine column of light or the roots of the tree, as we often use that analogy in yoga, to really visualize and intend really earthing, grounding deep, deep, deep into the earth. So once you've got a sense of that, you can close your eyes, visualize, intend, pretend, really doesn't matter. Imagine that root system deep, deep, deep into the earth. And then imagine that you're breathing with the earth. With the breath, either in through the nose, out through the mouth. If you're more familiar with yoga, meditation, and in and out through the nose, then please do practice in and out through the nose. Okay, and then bring the arms up. Turn the palms away from you as if you're pushing out against two walls, and then we're going to spin. So clockwise direction. Keep breathing, keep your focus on the grounding, the roots in the earth. Nine. 12, if I'm correct. Keeping count is the most challenging. 15, remember, drop out if you begin to get too dizzy, or keep breathing, grounding. 18. And 21. And pause. Just let it, and breathe into the spin. Let go into the spin. Just imagine you're breathing into the spin. Imagine the electrons moving around the neutrons, the nucleus, in the cells. It's that same feeling. Energy spinning. And just breathing into it. Releasing the need to control. Breathing through any anxiety, any fear, any nausea, anything like that that might come up. Okay, and then we're going to make our way down onto the mat. So if you sit back on your heels, and then imagine the Tibetan monks, prostration, bowing down, but also really what we're doing here is we're having a good stretch and release for the back, grounding down. If your core is good, then connect to your core and support yourself, come up. See if you can lift the torso, arms up, bring the hands back together, back to prayer position. If your core isn't so strong, then roll up, scoop the tailbone, roll up vertebrae by vertebrae. So take it nice and easy. So that's our first Tibetan rite. So this one is laying back on your back. So again, if you have your core strong, take yourself down. So a few variations depending on what's going on for your core. So if you're not so sure about your core, you can always bend your knees in, lift the legs up towards the ceiling, bend the knees in, take them back down. Without touching the ground if you can, or just bend the knees up. And if you can lift up the torso and the arms, that would be great. And down. If there's too much movement, so the lower back, there should be very little movement. If you need extra support on that lower back, bend the knees, straighten up. You might even see about straightening the legs down, bend the knees, up we go, and down. If your core is pretty good, take the hands out. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, squeeze the air out, lifting the chest up towards the legs. Inhale, slowly bringing torso back down, legs down. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Without touching the feet completely on the ground, just over. like to do as well is take the arms overhead. So do your own counts. Remember, dropping off somewhere between 3, 6, 9, 18, 12, 15, 18, or 21. So build it up. If you need to drop out, just lay down, focus on your breath. Inhale and exhale. I've lost my count, so I'm just going to guess it. I'm going to do 5 more. And if you haven't already, let's bring it to a pause. And as we call it in yoga, Shavasana, turning the palms up towards the ceiling, allow the feet to flop out. Focus on the breath. And then depending on your core, if your core or you have any back issue, then bring the knees up towards the chest, roll over and sit yourself back up. If your core is pretty good, then you can bring your arms overhead, inhale, and use your core to come on up. Bringing the legs behind. So this is in between each Tibetan Rite. Drop down. Focus on the breath. Dropping the forearms, forehead. Just let everything drop into the earth. Grounding. So we're moving up through the energy centers, the base, the sacral, into the solar plexus. So connect the core again. Inhale, come up. Remember, roll up or lift up using the core. So I'm beginning to warm up a little bit now, which is what I love about these Tibetans. It's a great way to warm up on a winter's day. Especially in a cold morning, but really anytime. Also, if you travel a bit, even this morning I was away for the third Tibetan. It's a bit like the camel in yoga. So we're going to bring our hands onto our lower back. Bringing the hands onto the lower back. Yeah, draw the shoulders, shoulder blades in together. And then inhale, looking up towards the ceiling. Exhale, chin to the chest. Inhale, curl the shoulders up and drop the trapezes down the back, looking up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Pushing the pelvis forward, lifting the heart up towards the ceiling. Exhale. Warm up the back, stretch out the front of the body, especially in the morning. Get everything moving. So you're supporting that lower back with your hands, your palm, and the upper glute. Now if you feel comfortable in that lower back, no pinching, no discomfort, you can see about coming back onto the heels to make it a camel. Bring the hands, or just continue as you are if you want to keep going. If you're bringing the hands back, make sure you take the pelvis forward and imagine you're lifting your heart up towards the ceiling. Again, I have lost my count, so I might be off a little bit, but I'm pretty sure I'm getting pretty close to 21. So I'm just going to do one more. Okay, so slowly come down. There's quite a lot for that back. And so slowly walk the hands away, releasing the lower back. Breathing into the lower back. Just take as long as you need in between the rites or postures or exercises in this pose. A bit like the child's pose in yoga, just with the arms stretched outwards, forward, releasing through the back, grounding into the earth. Okay, and then connecting to the core when you're ready. Inhale, coming back up. Bring it back to the sternum, to the heart center. I like to touch my third eye, heart center. So moving into the fourth Tibetan Rite. So this one is a tabletop. So, okay, actually, I'm going to do it on the mat. So sometimes I don't like to do it on the mat because my arms aren't as long as some people's arms, so they don't quite touch the mat. So I find that my bum catches off the mat. However, if you have long arms, you may not find that. But what you can use is a couple of blocks, or if you don't have blocks, because I want you to know that you can do these any place, any time. You don't need lots of props or anything too special. You can just have a couple of books. So I'm going to use a couple of books instead of the blocks. Okay. Now the other thing I've noticed that people can have a little problem with this one is depending on what's going on in the shoulders, pointing the fingers forward might be a little bit too much. So if it is, just turn the hands out and see if over time you can start, once those shoulders start to open up a little bit more, that you can start to take the hands a little bit more further forward. And of course it depends, you know, if you've been working out, how you've built up your muscles as well. Okay, so again, listen to your body. Okay, so we're gonna come onto a tabletop. Press down through the hands, spread the fingers as well, press into the pad of the index finger, so you're spreading the weight through the hands, and then inhale, lifting up into a tabletop. Lift the pelvis to the ceiling, look up, and then see if you can bring the bum back in between the hands. That's one round. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, and exhale. That's 6. So my mat is still catching, so I'm just going to sort that out a little bit. Actually, I'm going to try the blocks to see how that will go. Give me a bit more height. Lots of height, so I'm not dragging my bum on the mat. So I often don't do this on a mat, I do it on the carpet, and especially if I'm out and about in different locations, I don't have my yoga mat, I just do it on the carpet. It's fine. suggest though, make sure you've got trousers on, or you might give yourself a carpet burn. So inhale, lift the hips, look up towards the ceiling. Also check in with the feet. So the feet, hip, shoulders are all lined up. Press down to the pad of the big toe. Yes, I've definitely discovered that keeping count and giving instructions, making this video doesn't work for me. So I'm guessing again on my counts. So again, drop off wherever you need to. If I haven't warmed up before this one, I usually get pretty warm for this one. So I'll do one more. I'm pretty satisfied with that. You keep to your counts though. And again, dropping off three rounds, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Okay, bum onto the heels, coming down. If, for example, you've had a knee operation and you can't sit on your heels, that's okay, come on up a little bit, even if you can just do this. So whatever you can do, but you want to, bit by bit, encourage the bum down onto the heels. I had a woman on my retreat this week and she had a knee replacement, so yeah, she couldn't bring her bum onto the heels. However, after a few days of yoga and stretching, said she was able to come down more than she had been. So just have patience, and with practice, be amazed at what's possible with the body. Another thing I would suggest is not doing these on a full stomach, because otherwise we're putting pressure on the internal organs. Okay, so one more to go. Inhale, connecting to the core, lifting up or just rolling up, vertebrae by vertebrae, or calming on up. Okay, so last Tibetan rite. If you practice some yoga, then you'll be a bit more familiar with this. If you haven't, it could be quite new. So one of the things I want to point out, especially if you have no yoga background experience, is spreading the fingers wide and pressing down to the pad of the index finger, little finger. You're spreading the weight. You don't want to collapse into the wrist. This is where people can do a little bit of injury, and especially if you've had a wrist injury or carpal tunnel or any kind of repetitive strain, you definitely want to make sure you're spreading the weight throughout the hands. If you need to just get a feeling of that, then spread the fingers and just do some circles. So circle forward, come back the other side, and that should give you a feeling of what it is to make that connection. If you're a kinesthetic person like myself, you need to feel it in your body for it to make sense. Okay, otherwise, what we're going to do is come into downward dog. So up into downward dog. Again, if you haven't done downward dog before, just be aware it's not this. You want to bend your knees. If you need to, a little bit, even a micro bend, shift weight back into the legs. If you find you're too much in your shoulders, then bend the knees a little bit more. If your hamstrings are quite tight, if you straighten your legs, it'll bump you up into your shoulders. So just bend the knees a little bit more. Shift weight back. Draw the quads back, the heels back, the hips back. Shake out the neck and the head, looking towards the legs. That's your downward dog. And then from there, or our mountain pose, and then from there, we're going to come forward and come into upper dog. Draw the shoulders away from the ears, looking up towards the ceiling, stretching out the throat. Press down through the hands, especially the pad of the index finger, and come back. If you find you might need to take the hands a little bit further forward. So inhale. Draw the shoulders. So shoulders not around the ears. You want to draw them away from the ears. Press into the hands, chest forward, and then press into the hands coming back. So inhale as we come down. Exhale as we go back. Inhale. And exhale. Continue. Stretching the front and the back body. And I'm guessing that's around the 12 mark. Or 18 in my count. Stick to your own count though. And 21. So drop down, last one. Bum onto the heels and come down. That's pretty much the 5 Tibetans done, but what I like to do, just for the side body, I always find it's a nice compliment, is to, take my mat away a little bit more from the wall, is to go wider with the knees, big toes together, and start to take both arms over the left side, breathing into the right side body. Just give that side body a nice opening while I'm in this position. Back to the center, take it over the other side. Coming back to the center. And then what I suggest is laying down on your back again, coming into full relaxation pose. Palms facing up, drop the shoulders away from the ears, lengthen through the back of the neck, allow the feet to flap out to the side, and just completely relax. Blanket or something over you, or get your socks on as the body cools down. Even if you just take a few, 3 to 5 breaths here, whatever you can. Just allow the body to really work its magic, really flush in the fresh oxygenated blood deeper into the muscle fibers, ligaments, tendons, bones, organs, flushing out the lactic acid, the toxins, stagnation from the night's sleep, and just really flow that life force energy, vitality through a balanced energetic system. through all the systems of the body, hormonal, respiratory, circulatory, nervous system. And then when you feel ready, just start to breathe deeper into the body. Wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes. Have a little stretch, have a little wiggle. Maybe bend the knees in. You can drop the knees to one side and the other side. Window wiper legs or whatever you feel. It's just a great way to just loosen up the waist. Stretch out a little bit, and then you can bring yourself over onto the right fetal position and bring yourself up. If you have a meditation practice, then this would be a great time just to sit in meditation with a cushion or a block underneath. The butt is always good, or something, just to lift the pelvis up a little bit and feel nice and upright through the back. Palms facing up, thumb and index finger together. So optional. Otherwise, continue with your day and enjoy a beautiful day, whatever you're up to. And yeah, I hope you feel like you've had a good start and feel good in your skin, in your body, in your being. Namaste.